guys, this is Christy Fulk with Create with Christy. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the US. Well, today I have a sneak peek for you. It comes from the Stampin' Up! July to December mini catalog, and it'll be available starting August 3rd. And it's supposed to be used to make wintry scenes, but I want to show you how you can make it to be a summer scene. You can probably do this for spring. I think you can use this set all year long. I really love it, and we can adapt sets to last all year long. And my husband's birthday was last week, and this was the card I made him, so I want to show you how I made this. Okay, first off, I want to show you the sneak peek bundle. This is Peaceful Cabin, and it does come from a suite, and I can't think of the name of it, top of my head, but it's a beautiful suite, but it makes such beautiful wintry Christmas scenes. But I want, like I said, this one I'm using as a summer scene, and I'll show you how to do it. It's really neat. When you look at the stamp, you can tell it looks like snow on there. So I'll show you how to do it so it doesn't look like snow anymore. But I just love this bundle. It's so much fun. Now the dies I'm going to be using for this one is this one here for the cabin. I love how it does a little hill, so you can have little snow hills or land hills, which is what I'll be doing. And then one for the trees. And that is, yep, that's all the dies that I'll be using. And then I'm also using another sneak peek product. This is a Timber 3D folder. This is in the same suite, I do believe. I may be wrong on that, but I really like the wood grain in this. We've had a wood grain one before, but this one is really, really neat. It really looks like wood. I'm excited about this one. I think you're gonna like it too. Now I'm also using a couple things from the annual catalog, called The Biggest Wish. I just got this. Normally you would use like this and this together, but instead I'm using these two together. And so there's so many different options you can use with this stamp set. It's a must-have. And then I've got some old dies. The Majestic Mountain dies that are also in the annual catalog because I needed a cloud. So this is the die I'm going to use for that with the cloud. Okay, and I'm also using some designer series paper that's on sale. We have a 15% off sale until August 2nd, 2021. And this one is called In Good Taste. It's a bigger paper pack. It's normally $21 for $17.85. The design I'm using, it has a wood grain. It has a lot of different designs in it. Like that has like a spackling look to it. Just has a lot of different textures to it. If you want to see all the designs, I'll put a link down below to this designer paper in my online store, and just click on each picture and it'll show you the designs of all the sheets. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Let's grab the card base. This is an early espresso piece, 5.5 by 8.5. And we'll go ahead and fold this in half so it's ready to go when we're ready for it. We're not going to need it right this minute. But we'll get this done. Okay, we'll set this to the side. Grab a piece of crumb cake, and if you want to stamp along with me, I forgot to say this at the beginning, you can look down in the video description and click on my blog post link, and I'll have all the dimensions and the supplies needed. Then you can come back and make the card with me. Now this is a crumb cake piece. It's 5.25 by 4, and I'm going to grab that piece of In Good Taste designer series paper. It's 2 by 4, and I'm going to go ahead and attach that to the left side of my crumb cake piece. Put some across this top and here on the sides. And we'll put this right here, lining up right edge to edge. Okay. And we're going to put this to the side because we're going to do something really neat with that embossing folder with this. So I'll put this over to the side. We want that for later. Let's go ahead and get some stamping done too. I'm going to grab, this is a rubber stamp set, a cling stamp set, but I still love using my Stampin' Pierce mat. So I'm grabbing a crumb cake piece. This is a 4.25 by 2. And I'm going to grab this image. Now, for some reason, my label is messed up. Those white lines there are not there. But I thought, well, that's okay. It's just there for placement. So I'm not going to worry about it. It stamps just like it's supposed to. I'm going to take my Early Espresso ink pad, get that inked up, and then I'm going to put it over here to the left and make sure that that top is still in there. I don't want to chop off my chimney. Hold that down for a few seconds. So we've got that ready to go. Put that to the side because we'll die cut that out here in a few minutes. And we're going to take a piece of Evening Evergreen. This one is let's see here, I'm looking at the wrong piece. 4.25 by 2 3/4. And we're going to take the tree stamp. It's got 3 beautiful pine trees on it. And on this one too, if you stamp it on white, it'll look like there's snow on it. But since I'm stamping on evening evergreen, it's not going to show up that much. So I'm going to put this, we'll put it near the top, like so, to the left a little bit. You can faintly see those trees, but it's going to look really good when I die cut those out. Now, if you look at this cabin, you can tell that it looks like snow right here, doesn't it? Oh, I smeared that a little bit. That's okay, it'll look fine. I'll be die cutting that out. I'm taking my Crumb Cake Stampin' Right marker. You can use the blends too. And I decided to just color in the whole roof. And that's not going to look like snow anymore. So we'll color all of this in. Okay, now that is all I'm going to color, just the roof. So that way, now it doesn't look like it has snow on it anymore, does it? Okay, when I first colored it, I'm like, oh, I hope this works, and it does. It doesn't look like snow at all anymore. Okay, let's go ahead and get the die cutting machine out, and we'll do some die cutting and some embossing. Okay, first off, let's go ahead and do some die cutting. I've got the platform number 1, the base platform, then the die plate, which is number 2, and then you need a standard cutting plate. And let's go ahead and do the, well, actually, we could do all these at the same time, I think. Yep, they're going to fit on here. I'm going to grab the cabin and line up my cabin. And the neat thing, you see these little things right here? These die cut an opening for the porch and these little openings here. So we're going to put this down. Oops, I am seeing this warped and it's kind of a hill. I want it more of a valley. The die stays on a lot better when you have it more like a valley. So if yours starts to warp and becomes a hill, just turn it over. And I'm going to make sure I line that up. Actually, you just look at the roof. Make sure you have the roof line lined up. And those little holes right here are going to be in the right spot. And then the trees, we're just going to do this. Make sure the trees are lined up. The top of them, that is. And the sides. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to put this down. I'm going to bring this out just a little bit. Because when I put this down, I don't want it to be touching the dies right now. And then slowly bring this down. They didn't move. So we'll get these through. And now we have a nice little scene right here. And a nice little scene right here with the trees. Okay, now we're going to do, let's see, what else do we need to do here? Let's go ahead and die cut the mountain here. Let me put these dies back in my dish. Now I am using a Post-it note with this instead of taking it with cardstock. I'm going to use the same sandwich I just used. Now I can't remember if these have a specific name, but they're Post-it notes, but they have the sticky all over. It's not just up here. The whole thing has sticky on it. And I got these on Amazon. And I'm going to put one right here. Doesn't matter if I go on that band up at the top. Do this. And let's see, let's do another one here. I think I'm going to do about 4 of them. I think that's what I needed last time. Well, here we'll just make it go the other direction, because you only need to have it run through once. And we'll do one here. And one more right here. So these are going to kind of be like, well, not really stencils. You'll see what I do here in a minute. I could have die cut them out of white cardstock, but I didn't want to put them on a bright blue sky. I wanted that to be more inked up to give a more subtle look. And it actually, to me, looks a little more like the sky this way. So as you can see, that was all stuck on there. Put this die back in here. And I will peel these off, and if they don't come off right away, which they're not, I'm going to take my Take Your Pick tool and get it started. And I'll put those right here. That way I can pick those up when I'm ready for them. Okay, now we're getting ready to do some embossing. So to do a 3D folder, you just need platform number 1. And I'm going to grab that timber folder, and then I want you to grab the crumb cake piece that already has that DSP. We're going to put that in here. I'm going to line it up with that line down here just to get it straight. We're going to put it in fold first, and then you need the gray specialty plate that comes with the embossing machine, with the machine, die cutting machine. Run this through. So I'm not only doing the cardstock, I also embossed that designer series paper, and that makes it really look like wood. I thought that was neat. Okay, I think we're done with the die cutting machine, so I'll get this out of the way and we'll get the card finished. Okay, now you want to grab some scratch paper, and we're going to take this right here. I wanted there to be more grass on here. So I'm going to take Old Olive and a blending brush, get some ink on it. And you want to kind of dab off a little bit, make sure it's not too dark, but start off on your grid paper first, or scrap paper, and then start going on here. That way, because a lot of times when you put it down, you get, see I got that little dark splotch. Since I did that here, when you put it down, sometimes you do that. So you start off of it, that way you get a nice even blending with your image. So I'm making sure I just stay where the grass is. I'm not doing it on the house. Let's kind of move that at an angle a little bit. Just keep doing it till it looks green on the bottom to you. I was really happy with the look of this. I thought, yeah, that does look like grass. Okay, that looks pretty good. You see how we've now got green grass. Put this to the side. And now we're going to go ahead and do some more sponging. Well, blending, I guess we should say, because it's not sponge. Going to get a piece of basic white. This one is 4 1/4 by 3 3/8 inches. And I'm going to take my little clouds. Actually, let's grab this here first. I'm not going to attach these yet. Actually, we could attach these now. So let's go ahead and attach these together, make it a little easier. So I'm going to put some adhesive right across this bottom section of my green one. You can do it on the back of the cabin too if you want to, but I'm just going to do it right along the bottom here. And then line this up and make sure I get my trees where I want them. That looks pretty good. Okay, so put this on. When I did my original, I had to move the trees over a little bit. This is actually exactly where I want them. But if you have any greens showing on the other side, just clip it off. You just cut that off. Okay, so we're going to lay this down here at the bottom. I don't want to attach it yet. And put down where I want my clouds. And let's put one right here. And I love having the sticky all across my cloud. I don't have to worry about it coming up when I go to use my blending brush. And we're going to put a cloud right here. I think that looks pretty good. It's okay if they're not straight. Clouds usually aren't straight. Let's put, I want one right here behind these trees. I'm going to lay it down real quick and see if that works. That's the other neat thing with the Post-it note. If you want it in a different spot, here, let's lift it up a little bit more. There we go. Because they come up very easily. And we've got one more cloud, and I think we need one over here. I'll bring it down just a little bit. Put this back and see if I like that. No, I don't like this one. Let's kind of straighten it up a little bit. Sometimes when it angles too much, it does look kind of funny. Well, I kind of like that big hump on there. And this one I'm going to bring up just a little bit. So just keep playing with it till it looks good to you. And that, I think, looks pretty good. Let me get this in the right spot. Oh, no, that looks good. I like that. Okay, so we'll pull this away now. And I'm going to use Midnight Moonlight. Midnight Moonlight. Misty Moonlight. I always want to put the word midnight with this color. Don't ask me why. It's driving me crazy. So we're going to grab some blue again. And we're going to do what we did before. I'm going to start off the paper and then start blending. Going off all the way. Just keep adding some ink. Start off again so you get your blotch, because when you put it down, a lot of times you end up using a little too much weight. But then when you're brushing it, you've got more control over it. And I think I'm going to start over here a little bit because it looks like I'm getting a little darker over here, but not over here. Okay, let's get some more down here. And I'm going to go farther down than I think I need to be because I don't want to have any white showing in between my cabin and my trees. At first I thought that Misty Moonlight was going to be too dark, and if I had used a cardstock it definitely would have been. But I thought this looked really good. Okay, that looks really, really good. We'll take this off. And now we're going to take our clouds off. Voila, it's magic. And you don't have to worry about getting blue where you don't want it, since these stick all the way across. So now we have our clouds. Now I thought those were a little bit too white, just a little bit. So I'm going to lightly take my blending brush and go over them a little bit, just to darken them up just a teeny bit. That looks pretty good. They're not quite as white. You probably can't tell in the video, but they're not quite as white as they were. Okay, now we are going to need to figure out where that happy birthday goes. So I'm going to lay this down again without attaching it. Let's grab the happy, let's get the Stampin' Pierce mat too, because this is a photopolymer, so we definitely want that mat. We'll get the happy and the birthday out with the early espresso. Let's stamp the birthday first. Now I'm doing them on separate blocks. I could have done them on one block, but I couldn't get the happy and the birthday close enough to be able to fit on here. Now I think I might have to bring this down just a little bit. So it looks to me like I've got this a little wider than I had before, and I'll show you how to fix that here in a minute. So I'm going to bring that down just a little bit to make sure I can get that happy and birthday on there. Okay, right there. Okay, so that now I can take it away because I know the birthday was the one I was worried about. And we'll do the happy here. See if I can get this to fit on. If not, I can always just move it over here. You know what, I'm going to do that. So just adjust it if you don't get it right where you wanted it, because that happy, the H was going to get chopped off. So we'll have the happy over here. It's going to look just fine. I'm going to put some dimensionals on here, but I'm going to have to clip off some of this. I can tell because that tree is getting in the way. Let's see if I put it all the way to the top. See how it's getting into the happy? So we are going to put it down here, turn this over, and we'll cut that off. I think I am going to go ahead and attach it first. And I'm going to use black dimensionals because with this being dark cardstock, so we'll put one on each tree. I'll put one down here. Actually, let's put one here. And the neat thing about the black dimensionals, you get mini dimensionals too. So I know this is going to be narrower, so I'm going to put a mini one here at the top because we're going to be cutting off that bottom just a little bit. There we go. That way I know the bottom's still going to be attached, but the mini ones won't be sticking out. So we'll take the paper backing off. I'm glad that I made that a little too wide because if it happens to you now, you'll know how to fix it. I've got a friend, and if she's watching, she'll smile when she hears this. There are no, I'm probably not going to say the exact words. There are no mistakes in crafting, just alterations or something like that. I just messed that up, Kathy. I went blank and couldn't remember the exact words you say. But she's right. You just alter it a little bit and it's just fine. Okay, I want to make sure that I get the left sides here up against the edges. That looks good. Push this down. And I really liked it being lifted up. It gives it a lot of dimension. It's really neat. Now we're going to trim that off. So you just turn it over. Take your scissors. Put your scissors right up against the white cardstock to guide you. And we'll have this all trimmed up, and it's going to fit perfectly on our mat. If I wasn't putting a mat on it, I probably would just left it alone, but I wanted to be able to fit within my mat. So now we've got that ready to go. Grab a piece of Evening Evergreen. This one is 4 3/8 by 3 1/2, because I didn't want it to be a wide one. I just want like a, there we go, about 1/16 of an inch around it. So we'll put some adhesive, on the corners, and then here on the top, and we'll stick it right here in the middle. Now I handed this to my husband, so I wasn't worrying about mailing it. So I'm going to put dimensionals on the corners here, but if you're going to mail it, I would not put dimensionals on this because it might make it too thick. I usually just do one layer with dimensionals. But since I was handing it to my husband, I thought I'll get a little fancy and add in some more dimensionals. And it kind of helps with the ribbon we're going to put on it here. So let's put this to the side. We're not quite ready for that. We'll grab the card base, and then you need to grab that piece that we embossed and a piece of, I love this ribbon, Evening Evergreen Chevron Weave ribbon. Isn't that neat? It is so pretty. And it's a 6-inch piece. So I'm going to grab some glue dots. I'm going to put a glue dot on this end. Turn this around. Make sure I keep it the same side. We don't want to flip it around and have a glue dot on the wrong side. There we go. And you kind of help the glue dot up as you pull it off the backing. Okay, now we're going to put this right here where the DSP and the cardstock meet. Okay. And then we're going to put this on our card, use the seal. And I'm going to put some, because this does kind of, being a wood grain, it kind of warps it a little bit. So I think I'm going to put all the way across this time. Normally I don't do that. But when I did my original, I noticed it started to gap a little bit. So I'll just put it all the way across. I missed a little spot here. That way it'll lay flat on the cardstock. Make sure the fold's on top. That was what I just double checked. And we will put this on. I think I'm going to move that ribbon just a little bit. Looks like it didn't get on quite straight. That looks better. Now we'll push it down and attach it. And we will take the backing off of this. There we go. With the black ones, you definitely can tell that you've got the paper backing off, because they're not white. They don't match the paper backing. And this is going to go right here in the middle. I was so happy with how this looked, and my husband loved it. And now we're going to definitely do the inside. I always decorate my insides now, but because this is an early espresso piece, you will not be able to write on that. It's going to be really dark unless you use a white gel pen or something like that. So we are going to stamp some trees here. Now this line is way too long, I thought. I didn't want it to cover up that much. So this is what we're going to do. Let's clean this off. Meant to do this earlier to give it a chance to dry, but here I'll show you a quick way to dry it, because I don't want it to leave the little tree to leave a watermark. So it dries pretty quick anyway, but you can stamp it on your scrap paper, and that helps dry it up real quick too. Now I only want these 2 trees. So I'm going to take my early espresso. I love that there's a big gap here, so I don't have to worry about getting any ink on that tree. There we go. So they did this probably so you could have them separated with the cabin like this did, but it also helps if you only want to get those 2 trees. Stamp that over here. There we go. And the other stamp did not get a watermark because we dried that off stamping it on that grid paper. It worked out perfect. Now you can kind of see it look a little bit of white to it, but I thought nobody's going to notice. And I'm going to take, I think this is a little fox that's in there. Yep, that's definitely a fox. And I'm going to take my early espresso ink pad. I thought we'll have a little scene here and just have a little fox walking away from the trees. So that's what I did for the inside. We'll attach that, and we will be done with this card. So it didn't take that long to make. But I really had fun. I was like, oh, I want to use some of my new stuff. And when I saw that cabin, I thought, oh, that'd make a great masculine card. Okay, and anybody that likes cabins would love this card. So it's not just for guys. So I hope you enjoyed this card. And if you'd like to stamp with me again, make sure to subscribe to my channel and click on that little bell icon and select all. That way YouTube will notify you every time I do a video. And that way you can stamp with me and won't miss any of my videos. Now, if you live in the United States and do not have a demonstrator of your own, I would love to be yours. Here is the annual catalog that is current right now. And this is the mini catalog that's going to be available August 3rd. And celebration. Yes, we're having 2 celebrations this year. I'm so excited. This one will be in August and September, and it also starts August 3rd. So if you would like these catalogs and you do not have a demonstrator of your own and live in the United States, just click that contact me link below in the video description and send me your mailing address, and I'd love to mail these out to you. Show you the card one more time. And please support my channel by giving me a thumbs up or commenting below. I really, really do appreciate it. See you in the next video.